move on to the next segment, which is a fireside chat on the future of journals. I would like to welcome the moderator for this fireside chat, Dr. Subhendupatnaik. Dr. Patnaik is the chair of the Center for Management Research, School of Business, and is currently holding the chair professorship, Sir Cary Cooper Professor of Organizational Psychology at Woxsen University. He earned his MBA degree at Cardiff University in the UK with an industry experience of more than 15 years and teaching experience of close to 5 years. He received PhD in Psychological Capital, PsyCap, and he has published papers in ABDCA and ABS 3 ranked journals with the first authorship. His views, publication as an output of quality and impactful research. We're very happy to have you, Dr. Subhendu. With that, we'd like to welcome the guest, Dr. GVRK Acharyulu, the professor from the Central University of Hyderabad. We welcome you, sir. Dr. Acharyulu is the Vice President of ISDSI and has worked as engineer in Sponge Iron India Limited in raw materials, production, operations, and marketing divisions, and has taken a shift from industry to academia after acquiring an MBA in marketing and finance. Dr. Acharyulu has published books on research methodology, supply chain management, marketing research, and pharmacy administration. His edited books on quality management, supply chain management, and healthcare management. We welcome both of you, and over to Dr. Subhendupatnaik to lead this conversation.
I'm indeed very glad for your kind introduction for both of us. Here in this quick session, we intend to deliberate on the overall ecosystem of the country. And since Professor Acharyulu comes from Central University of Rajasthan, Central University of Hyderabad, which is one of the top-ranking universities in the country, we will definitely get good insights on the overall ecosystem of research in the country. To start with, I have jotted down a few questions, and which I think he will give more insights on as we pass on with our discussion. Professor Acharyulu, you have got industry experience, and you are also into academia, and you are into a very leading university in the country, which is not only teaching-led, and it has got good research standing. So within that ambit, and you come across a lot of meetings, you attend a lot of seminars, you are a part of a lot of panels for which represents the government of India as well. So within that context, what is in your view on the state of management research in the country?
Great gathering here, eminent personalities from industry and academia. I'm very happy to be a part of this academic session. And regarding the question asked by Subhendra, the management research is now going leaps and bounds, and the importance of management research is really growing. And also, in the current situation, the management research is the post-pandemic situation. If you see COVID-19, so a lot of research has been happened, and in the field of psychology, in the field of biotechnology, in the field of vaccine, a lot of areas in cross-functional areas and all these things. But here, there are a lot of scope for the management research, and the scientists have really done a great thing on developing new molecules, vaccines, and also in the social sciences, particularly the behavioral aspects, how the stress levels happened during this pandemic, and how the academic higher education institutions really suffered, and a lot of things happened. And in this situation, what happens is there is a lot of encouragement for the management research. publishing in different quality journals from the UGC and Government of India, and the researchers really they can go forward to take up quality journals like Scopus Space Index journals, and they can take up in Australian Business EBDC journals, A-star journals, and actually what happens is the research is my point of view. In future, the research has to be done in terms of collaborative research, and also a lot of industry participation is required. That is slowly coming up, but still we have to focus on the industry participation, and also say the research, whatever research that is done, so that has to be internationalized. So a lot of international partners should be invited, and say collaborative research should be done.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for your very useful insights. May I ask you a very candid question? What are our stumbling blocks which innovates in creating a global research ecosystem from the perspective of government-led universities and from the private sector?
So here
Few important stumbling blocks.
yeah, the major stumbling block is uh, funding agency. So who is going to fund? And it should be encouraged from all these stakeholders and from the government, and also universities and private organizations to come up with to support the researchers and to take it to the global level. That is one important aspect. And also most of the research areas that is happening at the basic level, but the research has to be done at the application level, industry oriented, and also society problems, and it should be a problem solution oriented. Identification of problem and also finding a solution, and that has to be in a very systematic way and has to be taken forward, and definitely should be more of attractive to the internationalization. That's very important from my view.
Thank you. See, we have been deliberating here for a while in terms of overall research ecosystem and the macro variables which impacts research output and research policies. But may I ask you, in the training front, how have we progressed in terms of creating good PhDs, in terms of creating or developing the right kind of approaches for training our future scholars? What have we done and what are the problems?
So regarding this training future scholars, they should be a systematic orientation program should be there in such a way that so they should be given initially what are the different inputs that are required, that the basic inputs are required that you have to give, like academic writing and the tools that are required for the research, technological oriented, and also they should be thinking. They should have to develop the scholars in terms of how do they think in a innovatively and systematic manner, and to understand the problem, and also the research should be in the form of inclusive. It's not that only doing research in a particular area, but how do we look at other functional areas and to do a collaborative research, and how do we the researchers should be exposed to different research tools. That's very important. And how he should be a program oriented, and he should be sensitized in the sense such a way that he should be doing a kind of good work, and also he should be given initially review of literature, a sequential review of literature, then identifying the problem, and then how do we go about the questionnaire designs, primary research, secondary research, and then how do they develop different kinds of models, then how do they go for analysis, all this. And also there should be implications for the society also at the same time.
Okay, thank you. If we look into our journal publications and our PhD thesis, which is stored in repositories, and I have had a quick skim over all those, but I could see most of them are replicative in nature, as in most of the ideas are borrowed and they try to try to test it in indigenous settings. So how do we transit from a borrowed framework to a original framework of research? Since we have been independent since about 70 years now, so what is the road ahead of creating our own original thoughts in creating paradigms for research?
Yeah, that is what actually the originality of the research is missing most of the times, but they are going to borrow different ideas in earlier research and they are continuing, but there is no innovation that is happening. But we have to, the research supervisor, and also we have to create an environment for the researchers to see that how we can think out of box. That's very important. So what happens is there will be just simply some research has been done earlier and then that is carry forward to do something, and same thing is repeating in the different kind context. So these things are happening. But actually, as a supervisor, research supervisor, you have to see that how do we look at innovatively. Suppose if you say most of the researchers will be doing mediation, moderation, and other techniques, but it is not that always. Sometimes the researchers are using tools and techniques, models which are already used, but those models are really applicable to this particular kind of data, or what kind of new methods that you can look at. These things are going to be important, and so you should be the research scholar should be well trained in terms of all the tools, appropriate tools, and in what context they have to use. It is not that earlier study they have used different tools and techniques, and I will be continuing same thing, and I will be repeating same thing in different context. It's not like that.
Thank you for your insights. Now, with regard to balancing between scholarly research or theoretical research with practice-oriented research, how have we proceeded? How have we gone ahead in terms of bringing it into the curriculum of our management education, in bringing in practice orientation and scholarly orientation? And what's your take on that?
So this is very important, and this is a emerging area, and most of the management institutions they are going to look at how do they take it forward. This is scholar research, between scholar research and the this thing. What is it? Practice oriented. So coming to the practice oriented, actually, if you see that the scholars or students should be exposed to different kinds of programs like internship program, project works, industry association. So they need to go to the industry and look at the industry environment and observe what is happening there in terms of if it is a supply chain management, if it is a maintenance management, if it is a psychology, if it is a stress management, or people who are working in the industry. So you have to observe the phenomena, understand the phenomena, and observe the environment, and then find out what kind of problems they are going to face, and how do you apply your knowledge to find out solution to those problems. That's very important. And coming to the scholarly research, and you have to look at very innovatively. The problem should be looked at very innovatively and see that how do we find out a solution differently. And there should be some kind of originality in your work. That should be done. That's one aspect.
Thank you. Thank you for your valuable.
And also
Yes,
one more thing I would like to add. Suppose if you look at the students are exposed to the industry environment and try to look at the problems, practical problems, what they are facing, and try to find out some solutions. So that way you can have an industry collaborations and the industry experience bringing into classroom. Even faculty also can be given the faculty can also do a industry-oriented research, industry collaborations, so that the problems will be brought into the classroom, so that students will be thinking differently instead of looking at the basic models and other things.
thank you for your valuable suggestions. And with this, overall, we could understand the overall ecosystem of research in the country. And we are constrained with time, so we are ending of the session here. And I'm open to any few questions in case you have. Okay, we'll wind up. Thank you for your patient hearing.
Thank you very much.